All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Speak on It. Miss y'all, man. Um, Before we get started, make sure that y'all let people know that we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that like button. We're gonna talk sports to y'all today, but we also going to get a little bit serious on y'all with a couple of things that's going on in the world. And with it being the new year, I wanted to come to y'all and talk to you about vision and how important that is. So, without further ado, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna speak on things. We're gonna speak up about things. We're gonna just jump right into it. I want to jump right into Heisman Trophy real quick. My man Devontae Smith won the Heisman Trophy, the first wide receiver to do it. In 25 years, 28 years, I believe, since Desmond Howard did it back in 1991. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I thought it was well deserving. I'm hoping that this train trickles over to the NFL and Derrick Henry is named the MVP, and we stop just giving quarterbacks all of these prestigious awards in sport and in the sport of football. I believe that Devontae Smith had the best season. I know that his quarterback had a great season. I know that there was other quarterbacks that had a great season, but his impact on that team, especially considering that the Waddle was hurt majority of the year.
You know what I mean? Receiver, right?
Who was their number one wide receiver? So he had to step up, and I thought he did. I thought he exceeded expectations. He had a phenomenal year catching the ball. He also returned kicks. So he had a great year. I thought he was well deserving of it. I wouldn't have been mad if they had gave it to Trevor Lawrence. It would have probably been, the cherry on top of his collegiate career. But I felt like the right guy won it in Devontae.
I 100% agree with you. But y'all know I'm on wax saying that I think that Trevor Lawrence should have got it. Not saying that he was deserving, but I thought that's something that they would have actually done. Just as he's probably in the conversation as the best college player of all time. A lot of people are putting him in that conversation. He's surely probably in the conversation for the best college quarterback of all time. So I guess we'll start to talk about that with the show. Yeah, I mean, but I just thought that they would have, if they would have gave it to him, like you said, I wouldn't have been mad if they gave it to Trevor Lawrence because of the impact that he's had college for the last 3 years. He's been he had a lot of hype coming out of the freshman. Kobe Bryant was undefeated, won a national title, ran into a buzzsaw at LSU. I think nobody was going to beat them that year. So he ran into a buzzsaw with them, and then he lost last week to. I mean, I just feel like the way Justin Fields was playing, and the way he gutted that out, I thought that nobody was going to stop him that day. So he just ran into a couple of hot teams and hot players, but he still was decorated. He was one of the most decorated quarterbacks in college football. So I wouldn't have been mad if he got it. But I'm super glad that they gave it to Devontae Smith because, like you said, I just wish it would start that trend to where you can't, like, Matt Jones had a great season, like we said, but if you look at the numbers, I think he had like 32 touchdowns or something like that. Devontae Smith had 17, 18 of those things. So he had like more than half of his production. Matt Jones had like 30. I think he had 41,000 yards. Devontae Smith had 16 of those 16,000 of those, 1,600 of those. So like he put in a lot of work, and like you said, for him having to be able to step up to another level with Jalen Waddle out. With Jalen Waddle was there, you could roll coverage to his side because he was the explosive person, right? He was the most explosive receiver. So it was like, okay, we're gonna take some of the you can take some of the burden off of Devontae Smith because he wasn't gonna get the coverage rolled to him. He wasn't gonna get the double coverage, stuff like that. But when Jalen Waddle went out, it was all eyes on him, and he took his game to another level.
He was phenomenal all year.
So yeah, shout out to him, man. He did his thing. Most touchdowns and most receptions, all-time leading receiver in the SEC history. So, and just think about this, right? I think he's the franchise. He is the school leader in receptions, touchdowns, and receiving yards from Alabama. And when I start thinking about wide receiver you right now, I'm thinking about Jerry Jeudy, who came out of there, right? I'm thinking about
Henry Ruggs,
Julio Jones, Henry Ruggs,
Calvin
Ridley, right? All these wide receivers that came out of that who are productive in the NFL right now. He sits atop all of them. That's
phenomenal
the type of career he had. Shout out to my man Devontae Smith. Good young kid. I watched his whole interview, so good young kid, man. So I can't wait to see him do well in NFL. Hopefully, it's in the midnight green jersey. So we'll see. We'll see. But like you said, right? I definitely hope it translates into the NFL. I definitely hope that thing translates to the NFL and not just. I just think quarterbacks get so much, and I get it. Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. People say, well, when he lose, he get the blame. No, not necessarily, because when quarterbacks lose, they start to be like, well, who was he throwing it to? What was around him? What was the offensive line? Yeah, I mean, so people do make excuses for quarterbacks when they lose. They do. When they win and they ain't got nobody, they make excuses for the quarterback making others look good. They do. Yeah, I mean, so they do give him a lot of credit and a lot of blame, and make a lot of excuses. Some of them do get blamed, but I just feel as though like Aaron Rodgers having a phenomenal year. Like you said, he's having a phenomenal year. But so is Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams got like 20 touchdowns, something like that. Yeah, I mean, so
it goes hand in hand.
Like you said, it goes hand in hand.
But here's what it is. Go ahead. You go ahead.
I said, but what you said about Derrick Henry, ain't nobody catching him. Ain't nobody throwing him. Well, I mean, actually, ain't nobody throwing the ball either. You know what I mean?
Just turn around and hand it to him.
Because you turn around and hand it to him, you know what he's going to do. Like I was watching one of the games that he was playing, and it was like it was a simple run, right? And it looked like he didn't pick up much. And you look up, he picked up 5 yards. And I'm like, that's how easy he makes the game look right now from that position. He is making that game at that position where a lot of people say it's a passing league right now. He is making it look super easy. And you want to talk about making people look better. You say quarterbacks make wide receivers look better. Ryan Tannehill is probably in the MVP, should be in the MVP talk. But
absolutely, I think he should be.
But it's because of the guy that's behind him. That's why I think Derrick Henry should be the MVP.
You think about it. There's 22 positions on the football field, right? Mm-hmm. There's only 5 in basketball, but yet when we talk about those guys, we always compare wins and losses. When we talk about baseball, pitchers, they actually have a statistic, wins and losses, so we keep it. But in football, the only people we ever talk about wins and losses are quarterbacks.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only people we talk about wins and losses. Heck, sometimes we might not even bring up the ring conversation when we debate in other positions. I might not put a receiver over another receiver because of how many rings he got, or a running back over another running back because of how many rings he got. But that quarterback position, rings all of a sudden matter. I think it's just the way that we have been programmed to view it. And I don't think that is something that I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But hopefully this will start a trend where we start giving these guys, these skill position guys, the credit that they just do. Like, it is a lot of hard work at every position in football. I'm going to go out here on the limb. I really believe offensive linemen should be in the conversation for MVP.
Shoot.
There are offensive linemen out here that do work every single week, and they have to know everything that everybody is supposed to be doing. Like offensive linemen, they get too much blame and not enough credit. And I really believe that needs to change as well. The way that we view and the way that we treat offensive linemen. Because if you don't want to give one offensive lineman an MVP, then you need to be giving units. Because there are some units out here that protect their quarterback. The quarterback don't get touched, and they create massive running lanes for the running backs to benefit from.
It's funny you said that, right? Because as you were saying, I was like, man. Now I ain't gonna go as far as you say, man. I think they should be considered as MVPs. But when you start talking about some of the most valuable players on teams, I started thinking about like you said, some of the offensive linemen. Like I'm gonna just say Josh Allen right now. Josh Allen, he having an MVP type season, phenomenal season. He got Stephon Diggs, but that offensive line is also allowing him. I think it's like last time I checked, it was like 4 seconds. 4 seconds before he can pass. They'll just put Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield career changed, his trajectory changed. They run the ball, but the offensive line is also holding up and allowing him to stay back there upright. Tom Brady, same way. We just see offensive line Carson Wentz right now. He possibly going to lose his job because his offensive line is that bad. His offensive line has been that bad for 2-3 years. So
I'm looking at the Ravens, and for majority of this year, Marshall Yanda, the absence of Marshall Yanda was felt. Yep. You could literally see it on the field. Like, man, they miss Marshall Yanda. So I just don't think that offensive linemen get their just.
Not Jonathan Ogden. I can't think of y'all left tackle now.
You talking about why can't I think of
Brown? Orlando Brown.
And this is
other dude, Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I couldn't think of his first name.
Yeah, so like you said, with the loss of Marshall Yanda, Ronnie Stanley, and having to move Orlando Brown to a different place, I'm with you. They look like they struggled. They had to figure it out. Cowboys the whole offensive line went down. They look different. So, and when I think about defensive linemen, defensive players, stuff like that, all of them have the ability to get a defensive player of the year award.
Yep.
They need to start figuring out offensive line awards where you can award offensive line.
They got to do something.
I agree with you on that. I don't know what has happened.
Since we're talking about football.
Okay.
Since we're talking about football and NFL, what's your thoughts on your boy Doug, man?
I'm not surprised he's still here, but I know a lot of people want him gone. A lot of people, it might be 50-50, but I wanted Doug gone like two years ago. But I just think, and I said this in one of my chats. I said, as an Eagles fan, I think I'm becoming a free agent this year. I just think I'm becoming a free agent this year. I'm just going to root for whoever. I
can't even blame you. I grew up a 49ers fan. Die-hard 49ers fan. I loved Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, you can't say nothing bad to me about Jerry Rice. But after they decided to move on from T.O. and Jeff Garcia in like consecutive years, I said, I think I'm gonna be a free agent for a little while. So I followed players for a little while. I'm always been a big wide receiver fan. So I followed Ocho Cinco and everything like that. Then I was like, finally, I gotta get a team. I can't keep rooting for players. So I picked the Ravens because they was local. You know what I mean? So I've been a Ravens fan probably since about 6 or 7. Somewhere in that vicinity. I always followed them when they came to Baltimore, but really wasn't a fan until about 06 or 07. So I feel your pain, bro. I feel your pain.
Listen. I think eventually I'm gonna go back to the Eagles. Yeah, man. Eventually, because that's I'm from Philly. Yeah, I mean it's a hometown. But when I hear them say like they'll come out and be like, we was trying to win, so I put Nate Sudfeld in.
Don't lie to us.
So you trying to assault our intelligence?
To our face.
You was trying to win, but the guy that was actually
Now, if he had made that move at the half, because it wasn't like Jalen was playing lights out. He wasn't. Now, if he had made that move at the half, I don't think anybody would have said anything.
Nope.
But dude, come on, right there though.
No, nobody would have said nothing.
Nobody would have said anything. If you had started him from the beginning, nobody would have said anything.
Said nothing. But I actually expected Nate Sudfeld to play in the third quarter. I expected Jalen to play the first half, and I was like, man, I hope we do not see Jalen in the second half. Then when they started Jalen, I said, oh, okay, Jalen gonna play the whole game. Then you go down, Jalen driving right. He get us down there in field goal range. He go for it. They go for it. Fourth down. He dumped it. He missed it. We don't see Jalen no more. This is why I say I'm probably going to become a free agent fan, because I don't know if I trust this organization right now. That is why. Because listen, if he just they would have came out, they probably clearly wouldn't have said it, but he just came out and said, you know what? We was trying to get a higher pick. We just trying to get a higher pick. Everybody cool with that. The one thing I always say is the biggest thing Doug has going for him is his relationship with people. He's a relationship builder with people. He's not a good X's and O coach. He's not a rallier. He's not a rallier. He's not that type of coach. So you're a relationship guy. I feel as though when you do stuff like that, when you come out and you say we was trying to win the game, so I put Nate Sudfeld in, and then you look at Jalen on the sideline. He like, man, it's not right. It's just not right. You lose. To me, that says, man, you're gonna lose. You could sever the relationship with that guy.
I think he lost a lot of them, which is why I think he got to go now, because you could literally see the anger on Jalen's face and other players' face when the decision was made. At that moment, you were looking like, no, I don't think any of them knew that this was coming. This is random. This is spontaneous. Like, I don't know what Doug is doing right now. And then to come out and you hear players saying that they didn't like it, they were totally against it. I'm like, man, Doug's got to go. He's got to go. He'll never, I don't think, and I know it's probably a huge, I don't think any of those players are ever trusted again after something like that. It's hard to. You want to win. You want to end the season on a good note. You want to end the season on a high note. You played bad for really all season long. You had a little run towards the end. Now we can end the season on a high note. And I mean, I understand that it was the Washington football team, but you still can ruin their season.
Yeah.
I know you're helping the Giants out, but you can still ruin their season. And to come out, let's go, gung-ho, you was looking to win that game. And then the move that you made, it wasn't equivalent because of the situation is completely different. But it reminded me of what we just seen in the World Series. It reminded me of the World Series. Like, you can't tell me that this move right here was the best move for you to win. You can't convince me of that. That move was not the best move for the Eagles to win that game, even though they were playing for nothing. But no.
That's what I'm saying real quick. And I can only imagine how the players feel. So me, I've been wanting to tank for a while. But when I watch games and you as a fan, you watch your team and it looked like they could win. As a fan, since you're that close, you rooting for them like, yeah, let's go. We're about to get this dub. Even though deep down, I'm like, I want to tank because I want to get the position. I want to see. I want to look. You know what I mean, futuristic. But when you're in the moment, you're like, man, we're about to get this dub. Let's try to make it to the playoffs. On Sunday when we was close, I was like, yes, let's go. Even though I wanted the number 6 overall pick. But when you're in the moment, you're like, man, let's go. My team is doing their thing, right? As a player, I can only imagine You're that close. You're right there. We giving it our all. We practicing. We doing our thing. We out there, and the defense was playing lights out. Jalen Hurts, he wasn't playing well, but he did enough to keep us in that game and potentially put us in the spot to the position to win that game.
Absolutely.
I don't think that you have to have phenomenal stats to be a great quarterback. I think that you have to be, you have to know how to win games. Jalen Hurts wasn't having a phenomenal game, but he was playing winning football.
Yep.
He was putting us in a position to win that game. And Cowherd said this. You robbed him of a moment. You robbed Jalen Hurts of a moment.
That was a fourth quarter comeback moment.
That was a fourth quarter comeback moment for Jalen Hurts that you robbed him of. He put you in a position to win that game. The score ended up being 14-7, I believe, or 14-20, something like that. So they didn't. Washington didn't come down the score. If you would allow Jalen Hurts to finish the game, he wins that game. No doubt in my mind. He wins that game. He puts him in the position.
I agree.
You robbed him of that. So, like you said, I think Doug lost the locker room. And if the call was from Howie on down or Jeffrey Lurie down, they lost a couple players as well. Because when you hear them speak out about the decision, and you was involved, Jeff, and you was involved, Howie, I got a problem with you too.
Yeah. It was funny because as you was talking about, you know what I mean, the players being out there and they want to win and they're driving, and then that happened. It was almost like when I know I'm probably getting ready to date myself. But like playing really anything, because now with the disc, whatever. But playing any video game and you killing it, but you didn't get to save it.
Oh,
and then that Joker blank out on you, and that's what it felt like. The Eagles was right there. They were right there. They were like, man, we get ready to do this. We get ready to do this. And then, boom, the game blanked out. And he was like, oh, my gosh, all that work for nothing. All that work for nothing.
I know everybody listening to Washington can definitely relate to what he just said. Everybody. When you listen, for me, I'm like, man, Tomb Raider, that was my game. I'm in there playing Tomb Raider, boy. You out here beating mission after mission. And like you said, that thing go blink out. You like, yo, I legit sat here for 4 hours, Sean. So, bro, I definitely understand what you're talking about, and I definitely know that's how the players felt. Like, right there, giving it our all. It's like,
all this work for nothing.
And listen, I know they wanted to win for Jim. I know the defensive players wanted to win for Jim. Because the way they played.
They played their behinds off. The defense played their behinds off, man.
They wanted to win for Jim.
Yeah.
And they robbed me with that.
Don't lie to us, though, man.
Don't lie. You wasn't
trying to win that game. You wasn't trying to win that game. And there was no reason. And there was no reason to see what you had in Nate Sudfeld. You have a quarterback controversy already. Why do you need to bring a third guy in there?
Somebody said this today, right? They're hilarious. They said, dog, Nate Sudfeld was on the team when Carson went down last year. And we had 41-year-old Josh McCown in there. 41-year-old Josh McCown with the knee tore off his hamstring.
Yep.
And we played him. We also brought Josh McCown back again when we actually had 2-3 quarterbacks already on the team.
Yep.
If Josh McCown didn't get scooped up off our practice squad, Josh McCown would have came in the game yesterday, not Nate Sudfeld. Stop lying to us, dog. Stop lying to the people, man. You're insulting our intelligence. Bro, it's real. All right. I know I probably ask you this every week, and you probably gave the answer a little bit. Who's the MVP of the NFL?
It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers.
Who should be?
It should be Derrick Henry. The season that he had was phenomenal. 2K is 2K. I don't care. 2K is 2K, and this is 2K when everybody know you're getting the ball. This is 2K with 9-man boxes sometimes. Not because the receivers aren't good, because Davis and Brown are good, but not everybody is still 100% believing in your quarterback. So for Derrick Henry to go out and do what he did, man, and had 2,000 yards, and it wasn't as if they were playing against some bums. They played the AFC North. Like, they played some good defenses, and he was still able to do his thing. Now, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He was phenomenal again. And I think it's a quarterback award in my opinion. He's probably the quarterback that had the best year. If Pat didn't have those games where, I'm just going to say it, they really didn't care for a quarter and a half or whatever, and Patrick Mahomes was himself, he would be the guy that's going to win it. But the year that Aaron Rodgers had, he's going to be the winner. But my MVP would be Derrick Henry.
I agree with you. I think Aaron Rodgers does win it. I don't think he should win it. In my opinion, the person that should win it is Josh Allen. It's my opinion. When I look at the numbers and I start putting everything together, everybody's going to look at Aaron Rodgers' 48 touchdowns. I think he's also like 5th or 6th in passing yards. I think Josh Allen is 2nd in passing yards. He's 4th in passing touchdowns. But he also has 8 rushing touchdowns and 500 rushing yards. He beats you both ways. And I know Aaron Rodgers has Devontae Adams and Josh Allen has a Stephon Diggs. But I just think that, to me, the quarterback that's played the best is Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers also has a 1,000-yard rusher. It's kind of like what I talked to you about Matt Jones. Matt Jones got a 1,000-yard receiver, a 1,000-yard running back. Yeah, I mean, like, is Aaron Rodgers the most impressive player on his team? Maybe, yeah, I mean, but you can also debate that. You can also debate that Devontae Adams is as well. Yeah, I mean, when I think about Josh Allen, I understand that Stephon Diggs is the guy. I mean, he's a monster. But I just think Josh Allen does more. He runs the ball. The stat that I've seen in his red zone, 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Number 1 completion rating in the red zone. Doesn't turn the ball over in the red zone. He plays winning football. That's also been like two seasons now. Josh Allen, when you look at every statistical category that you want in your quarterback, outside of getting touchdowns, I think he got like 30 plus touchdowns. Josh Allen. So Josh Allen would get my vote. Aaron Rodgers would, if I had to pick a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers would probably be second. But if I had second vote, I'm with you. It would be Derrick. It would be Derrick Henry. What that man is doing, what he has done over the past 2 seasons. Like you said, he came in the game needing 231 yards, I think, to get to 2,000. We're like, man, he ain't getting 2,000. He said, okay. My man went for 250. And I promise you, I wanted it to go to overtime. Because I wanted him to try to get the record.
I thought it was going to overtime.
I thought it was too. Yeah, the Texans, y'all let me down, Texans. Y'all let me down. Speaking of the Texans, right? Let me ask you this. What job is the most attractive opening job? And I want to my man Anthony Lynn, man. I knew he was going to get fired, but I hate to see another black man lose his job, man. So, but shout out to my man Anthony Lynn. I hope he get bounced back on the street.
I think he's got probably. I think the job that he just left is probably the most intriguing job. Good young quarterback, good young receivers, good young running backs. If Derwin James can stay healthy, that defense is gonna be legit. I think that the only downside to that is you got to see the Chiefs twice a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only downside. But other than that, I think that is the most intriguing job out there. I'm not sure. I do like the Jags job. I think the Jags job is interesting, but the rest of them, almost full rebuilds.
Yeah,
Like the Jets, full rebuild. Falcons, full rebuild. Lions, full rebuild. The Texans, I think you're in a good place with your quarterback situation. But other than that, you don't really know what you have. Brandon Cooks is up and down. I don't know. But the Chargers job is definitely with the quarterback situation, and especially if Derwin James can come back up.
I agree with you. I do think the Chargers job, again, this is why I was like, man, I understand why Anthony Lynn got fired because he blew four. I think he blew 16-point leads or something like that. Finished 7-9, where he probably should have been tanking, but he finished 7-9. So I legit was like, okay, he's had 2 bad seasons there. He's also had 2 good seasons into the playoffs. Like, so but I agree with you. Like you said, Darwin James, Casey Hayward, Kenneth Murray. You can just start naming all the pieces that they have on defense before you even get to their offense. When you start naming Justin Herbert, Kareem, not Kareem, Keenan Allen.
You got Austin Eckler, like
Mike Williams, Jalen Jackson, Hunter Henry. Like when you start rattling off all these pieces that they got, you're like, man, listen. If I'm any head coach, I'm like, sign me up. Sign me up.
I don't mean no harm, but the Chargers, in my opinion, Eric Bieniemy would be my guy.
In a heartbeat.
Eric Bieniemy would be my guy with the weapons that we have. He can come right in and make that offense hum. So, but
didn't you say something real quick? Because I was pissed when I seen it. Because I was like, why Tyrell Austin ain't getting a job? The offensive coordinator for the Steelers. Why he ain't getting no position? I mean, then they got another black coach with the Steelers who ain't getting no love either. But then I was like, Jason Garrett? They brought Jason Garrett in for an interview? The Chargers? Jason Garrett. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, okay.
Since you brought that up, to me, it just continues to feed to the narrative that, you know, that minority coaches are viewed on a different scale. Let's be honest. If Anthony Lynn were white, he probably wouldn't be fired today.
Nope.
He had a 7-9 season with a rookie quarterback. That's a win. That's a great season. They wouldn't have cared. They wouldn't have cared about any type of injuries or anybody else. You know, I mean, they wouldn't have cared that he made some bad decisions down the stretch of some games. They would have overlooked all of that, and he would have still had his job. Now, I don't disagree that he should have been fired. I felt as though it was a justifiable firing. But all I'm saying is be that way with everybody. Don't give just the minorities the short leash. Give everybody the short leash.
I'm gonna look up because I was like, I listen. I don't think Zach Taylor should have been fired, but I was like, okay, if you justify firing Anthony Lynn, how can you justify bringing back Zach Taylor?
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Quarterback was injured. Quarterback got injured? Whatever. So the quarterback of Anthony Lynn defense got injured. His all-pro safety got injured. His all-pro defensive end. He'd be in and out of the game. He'd be in and out all the time as well.
Yeah. I understand why you fired him. I disagree with it, but I understand it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I just can't have that narrative right now. But when they fired like 4 other white coaches, so yeah, I mean, they fired. Listen, they fired Bill O'Brien mid-season. He went 12-4 last year, or 11-5, whatever it was. But
yeah, but that was a that was a blimp. It was an anomaly. Like that wasn't the trend.
Yeah,
It came out stinking to join up this year. Matt Patricia should have been gone.
yeah, should have been going. Like I
And-
agree with you.
Thank you, Jets. But I bet you he'll land a job before.
Man, they sitting here talking
Anthony
about
Lynn?
him. They bring him in as an office OC.
Yeah, no.
He getting talked to the OC. Bill O'Brien getting talked to the OC as well.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
They land on their feet.
Yep. Got
Yeah,
my man.
Marvin Lewis got to go and be a defensive consultant in college.
Listen, like you said, they had to look at that Bengals job and put it in perspective and say, okay, Marvin Lewis actually was a good coach. Now he getting his just due.
Yeah, he wasn't a bad coach. Andy Dalton wasn't going to go out and win you a lot of games, and the Cowboys just seen that. Andy Dalton,
he had a layup. He had a layup this year.
They couldn't get it done. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Listen, back to the most attractive job, right? I agree with you. Like I said, I think the bank, what's the name is the most attractive job, but that job in Jacksonville is intriguing. I think they got $100 million.
Number two on my list.
I think they got $100 million cap space. Like I said, they got a 1,000-yard rusher. They got DJ Shark. They got okay offensive line. They got pieces on defense. And I think they got 4. Because I just did a mock draft. I'm going to put it on our page, but I think they got 4 picks within the first 42 picks. So that team could get turned around real quick.
And the number 1 pick.
Yep, and the number 1 pick. I think it get turned around real quick.
Yeah, you can, and it's really dependent on what the front office really wants to do with that first pick. To be completely honest with you, so
listen, even the picks they had last year, I like C.J. Henderson.
Oh, I like
the boy from LSU, linebacker.
Oh, and what's name is my guy. I liked Latavius Chenault from Colorado. I liked him a lot, boy.
So I like the picks. I like what they did last year.
I think they're in the Jaguars are in a really good situation if management handles it correctly.
The least most desirable job, the Jets.
I gotta disagree.
I know. I was trying to think, but
I think it's the Lions.
Yeah, I can see that.
I guess I just think that franchise is not destined to win.
I'm gonna tell you what I think the Lions are. Like what you said, like I'm with you. I think they gotta tear everything down. When they do that, I don't know who I go to see on that team. Like who's the standout that I go to see on that team? Like who stands out and was like, okay, I know they suck, but I gotta go see. Like Matthew Stafford was a baller. He's a baller. You know what I mean? He's a gamer. He gonna put up numbers. He's on that terrible franchise. I think he's going next year. And then when he's gone, I don't think you're high enough to get a quarterback. And then it's like, who do I come to see on that team?
Nobody.
DeAndre Swift.
Matt Patricia didn't do nothing but go back and go get all of Bill Belichick's old throwaways that he didn't want no more. So, like, what do you do with that team? I think Atlanta's in a better situation just because they have more assets to move and they have at least a couple of pieces here and there that you can work with.
And guess what? Like what I just asked you, when I go to that team, when I tune in, they got that guy over there. I think 84, whatever his number is, 83. They got Calvin Ridley there.
Yeah.
He's turning into one of the best wide receivers in the game. I can tune in to watch that guy. I can't tune in. Kenny Galloway is a free agent. Marvin Jones is a free agent. I think you're gonna get rid of Matthew Stafford. It's gonna be another rebuild for the Lions.
Ain't no another. They've been rebuilding. Since the beginning.
Since they got here.
Since they got here, they've been rebuilding.
They've been rebuilding.
Think about this.
The Barry years.
They had a transcendent running back.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and got a transcendent receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a really good quarterback.
I think he generated. I think Matthew Stafford was a generational type quarterback.
Yeah, unfortunately, he got drafted by them.
Same, like you said, they all those players were transcendent generational type talent. Barry, Megatron. and Matthew Stafford. It's just unfortunately, like you said, they all got drafted to the Lions. Where your career where you go to die. Like nothing good comes. I don't think anything good comes out of Detroit. They can't. Never mind. Because I don't want to get talked about. Anyway, my man Steph dropped 62. Career night. MVP. Can he be the MVP?
No. They're not gonna win enough games.
This is what
that's the only thing. That's the only
I know. Here, I know.
Thing, man. Like unfortunately, that's gonna matter to people. Not forget that my man might go for the 35, 6 and 7 and have a freaking 50, 40, 90 season, but the team might be the 8th or 9th seed. So he'll get overlooked. I think Bradley Beal couldn't even get on the All-Star team last year with the number that he was putting up.
Bradley Beal ain't the babyface assassin though. He ain't licensed Jesus.
Yeah, but he got Steph is he's Tim Tebow. He's really, really polarizing. Like there's no in between. You either love him or you hate him.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he got that kind of going for him, but it could be a positive and a negative depending on the audience.
Because they've been in here. Listen. I never seen a more likable guy get trashed. I'm lying because LeBron's a likable guy too.
Yeah, but LeBron do a lot of snake stuff though. Like,
he do. I've never seen a superstar of Steph Curry's magnitude get trashed so much.
Like he gets trashed all the time. Like I don't know.
So I'm with you. But
it was a great performance, man. Phenomenal performance. And I think it was a message to the rest of the league. Like, stop. I'm still one of those dudes. Like, I know y'all missed me for a year, and Dame had his moment in the bubble, and Jamal Murray had his moment in the bubble. They all can have all the moments that they want, but the buck still stops right here with me. I'm still the best point guard in the NBA. That's the message that he said.
Because he did it against the guy that you were saying he passed the torch to. Dame is the best point guard in the league. Everybody, best point guard in the league. Dame the best point guard in the league. All right. Yo, Draymond, I ain't passing the ball tonight. 62 with a monster win. This is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'll say if I think he can be in the MVP race these next 2 games. He played Clippers back to back. He let the Clippers up. They win both of those games. I think they can beat and compete with anybody. They struggled a little bit early. Draymond wasn't there. With Draymond as his point guard, that's point guard.
Shots. Kelly Oubre was I think his shooting percentage was lower than his freaking shoe size at one point, man. He was terrible. He was shooting the ball terrible. But again, these are guys that and this is one of the things why I'm not like you and I I don't really talk to you about the NBA.
Right.
At this point, I really don't even care about the NBA. No training camp, no summer basketball, and what? We just ended the season, 2 months ago?
2 months ago, October, something like that. Yeah, I think November.
So here we are. I'm not going to pay attention to the NBA to probably February.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'll start to see who is really separating themselves. Think about I think the Knicks.
Yeah, they're like 4-3.
The Knicks are the best teams in the East right now. Do we really think that's going to continue to happen? Probably not. So once teams start getting into mid-season form, we'll start to see teams separate themselves and players start to separate themselves as well. So I'll get into it then as far as where guys is going to finish and different things like that. Right now, I'm just trying to see how guys are playing and meshing with one another. Like I think KD and Kyrie, I think they are looking really good together. I think they're looking really good together. They may not be getting the results as far as wins, but you can see they are playing good together. So that's really, to me, I think that's what it's really about. You'll start seeing teams wins and losses start to really be true, probably close to Valentine's Day.
I agree with you. This is why I think Steph can be an MVP, the MVP this year. Because, again, like you said, they're 4-3 right now. He having 32 a game. And all eyes on him right now. Kelly Oubre is playing like trash. Andrew Wiggins is who he is. Andrew Wiggins is who we thought.
He is who he is. Stop putting pressure on that man to be something or someone that he is not. He is exactly who he is. He is the minus the championships. He's the Eli Manning of basketball. His demeanor don't change them. You don't know if they losing, if they winning. You don't know whether or not he having a good night or bad night. You do not know. He's just straight stale faced at all times. I don't know if anybody be able to get that true dog that you know is in him to come out. Because if that ever comes out, he's gonna be phenomenal. But I don't think it's ever gonna.
If Draymond can't get it out of him,
no one will.
Nobody can get it out of my man.
So
might be again. He just might be a glorified role player. Just might be who he is. So I just wanted to throw it out there, man. My man Steph out there trying to be the MVP, going for the MVP. Is there anything else? Let me scroll through my thing. Think about if we got anything else on the tap for. No, we don't, because we'll talk about Friday. Let's get into series, right? They tripping in DC right now, or earlier, or whatever. They tripping.
This is crazy. All right, let me just break it down. So I knew what today was. It's January 6th, electoral votes and whatever. So in between my Zooms, because I teach, in between my Zoom classes, I was watching CNN because I knew that they were going to be, protesting. Donald Trump was having a big speech and everything, and I knew that they were going to the congressmen, they were going to be objecting to the votes or whatever. And I paused my TV so I could do my Zoom class. I was like, I'm going to pick it up. As soon as I hit play, it jumped to live. So I'm like, oh, don't go to live. I want to pick it up from where I played it. It went to live, and I was like, oh my gosh. They didn't storm the Capitol building? And I'm like, hold on. That police officer, he ain't doing nothing. That police officer right there, that dude ain't moved. He gearing up, but he ain't gearing up like he want to go do nothing. He's like, I'm just going through the motions gearing up. I'm like, man, this is white privilege at its right here in our face, right there in our face. White privilege right there in our face that they could literally storm the Capitol building and nothing. There was nothing. I seen pictures of my man was in Nancy Pelosi's office with his feet kicked up today. His feet kicked up. I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's scary and ridiculous, man.
So, like you just said, right? A couple things you said. But I was like, man, let that have been a black man. Let that have been black people who did that. SWAT.
Murder.
People, somebody, like you said, I don't think there wasn't any injuries.
Yeah, there was one girl got shot. One girl got shot today.
One girl.
That was it. We don't know about who yet.
Let that have been a couple of black people. Let that have just been one black person. They would have found that one black person. They would have found him. They would have found that one black man. They would have made an example out of him, and he would have been the ringleader. He would have been the ringleader. Such and such, the leader of the protests and the riots today. Um, he's been found dead. We got the leader. I'm so glad nobody else had to get hurt, but you just can't do it. You just can't do. You just can't. Sorry, I had to come to that, but you just can't do it. So thoughts and prayers go to his family. Um, but listen, that was a true act of terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Can't storm the Capitol building like that.
Them thugs. Thugs.
All kinds of craziness on CNN. All kinds of craziness.
It's scary, bro. It's real scary because it's like right now you beefing with your brother and your sisters in your house, but you know you got enemies on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You look vulnerable. We look real vulnerable right now. If any of our enemies wanted to come and get us, it's probably a good time.
Yeah,
it's a good time. We're vulnerable. We look like we don't have any unity at all.
Like the Eagles organization. So
and we say it again. Say it again.
We look like the Eagles organization.
Exactly. We're dysfunctional. We don't. Nobody's on the same page. It's all over. It's all over the place. And then my man, he didn't even try to diffuse it. Like he was just like, go home peacefully. Like you're not gonna call them out their names. They're not SOBs. You're not gonna tell them that they're animals. You're not gonna call them thugs. You're not gonna say that they need to be locked up. Because then I know he made a tweet about if you destroy government buildings and statues, you should go to prison, 10-year minimum. I better see some prison sentences laid out, because that was vandalism of a government building. Like there was so many different things to where, and I know every black person in America that has any inclination with who they really are looked at that and was like, we couldn't have done that. There's nowhere we could have done that.
I couldn't even be the black man walking down the street trying to get home.
We've been shot for a lot less.
A lot less.
You feel me? We've been shot for a lot less. So to see that, and I'm just sitting here looking, I was just sitting there looking at the police. I'm like, man, they're not even really attempting to do anything. And then it went on for as long as it went on. I think that to me was probably the more telling thing, because I remember, what was it? Trump was supposed to do his thing at 11. He didn't come on until 11:45. And my Zoom got off. I was done with my Zoom around like 2:15. And here it was when we got on at 6. They were still out there. When we got on at 7, they were still out there. I'm like, man, they can protest at the Fool all day, all day long. This is white privilege at its finest, right in our faces.
You said something right about we've been shot for a lot less. Well, let's transition. Jacob Blake was shot, killed earlier this year. It was bubble time. Outrage, right? On the heels of George Floyd, on the heels of my man that got killed in Georgia, I forget his name. On the heels of I'm at Harvard. On the heels of Breonna Taylor, right? And we still keep seeing the same things over and over, right? If anybody has reason to be outraged, and a reason to riot, and a reason to storm some kind of building, shouldn't it be the black people that you're killing and shooting down in the streets? And okay, killing and shooting people in the streets, yes, we're doing that. That's what happened for however many years. But the government officials, the the law enforcement officials, they just keep getting off. That should send us over the top. That should send black people over the top. But we have a right to feel this way. We're getting shot down in the streets, getting killed in the streets.
Our anger is more than justified.
Right. Like you said, the anger is more than justified. My president, y'all out here getting mad because y'all got one white man again.
From the long, this is what now? A 2-month temper tantrum from POTUS. 2 months. We're talking about November 3rd. He has been, I don't want to cuss. He has been in his feelings for 2 months, and he is still egging it on. I'm not sure how this is going to end. I think today was just the beginning, to be completely honest with you. Because if they were willing to do that at that moment, this was a day. Today is almost like a unofficial holiday. When the reading of the Electoral College votes, even though I'm not even a fan of the Electoral College, this is still part of an American tradition. They interrupted that. And this is something, again, it happens every 4 years. You know it's coming. They interrupted that knowingly, willingly. And in my opinion, if anybody watched the speech that Trump gave this afternoon, he told him to do it. He told him to do it. He almost insinuated that he was going with him. From what I heard. I'm being real. Like, I watched the speech. I had to watch it because I knew my man was going to give me gem after gem after gem. So I watched it. And I was listening. I was like, yo, this dude is really telling them to go to the Capitol. I didn't think they was really going to do it. I thought they would go out there and protest. But actually storm the building and actually get inside, that's crazy.
And
that
like
is crazy.
Why, like you said, why did I'm just thinking about this, right? If a airplane comes in that looks unfamiliar, that's getting close to the White House, they're probably shooting that thing down. Or getting close to a government building, they're probably shooting that thing down. But these people, like you said, have free reign to storm a building, government building. They ain't looking good. But the thing I want to say is that, like you said, when I was talking back about, again, regardless of who you voted for, one white man leaving, another white man entering, you know what I mean? Just being real, you know what I mean? And I know Joe, a lot of people want to say Joe is for us and whatever, you know what I mean? Okay, I mean, it's TBD, in my opinion. But like you said, bruh, we have a right, man. We have a right to be angry. And for that to happen on the heels of Jacob Blake's killers getting off, I mean, it's unacceptable. It's legit unacceptable.
And this is the place where I be finding myself. I don't want to become numb. I don't want to be that to the point where Jacob Blake, they said they're not going to indict or charge anybody. And I'm like, that was what I was expecting anyway. Moving on. I don't want to be that guy. But it's so hard because that's the way, that is the reality that we live in. That's the reality that we live in, that nothing is going to change. And people are saying, well, get out and vote in this and that'll change. Do this and it'll change. And I'm like, man, is it? Is it? Like, are we really changing anything in here? We just voted because the best candidate that they could give us was a 79-year-old man. Are we really moving into a different era? I know a lot of the conservatives are upset about the fear of socialism and yada yada yada, whatever their fear may be. Their fear is completely different than the fear of ours.
Yep.
Because we don't trust the government to begin with. So whether they bring in socialism or capitalism or communism, we don't really care, because to us it's just a different oppressor that we're gonna have to fight. So to us it really doesn't matter. Like, I know a lot of black people are like, get out and vote. Does it really matter if all we keep voting in is the same oppressor? We know, if anything, black people, what we need to be seeing from today and what we need to be seeing from recent events is that we need our own. We need our own political agenda. We need our own political party. We need all of that, and stop relying on our oppressors to help us out and get us out of the situation that we've got to do better for ourselves.
Like I said, one white person, one white man to another white man. Yeah. Again, I'm not one that's big on racism or prejudice and stuff like that. I love all people. But one of the things you said that was like getting to a numbing feeling where it's like, I don't care what no other white person is going through. Like today, I went out to do a job and everything like that. And my wife was like, just be safe because they stormed the building. I'm like, I'm good, you know what I mean? But just to think like that, and then I'm talking to my son, and my son 4 years old, and having to explain, he loves police, right? You know, they love police, firemen, and stuff like that. But having to sit down and talk to him, like, one thing he said the other day was like, Dad, let's go over there and talk to the police officer. My wife was like, we can't just roll up and talk to the police officers. You know what I mean? One, I'm a black man. I mean, he was like, well, Dad, Dad, if you go over there, you're gonna get arrested. And if he asks, I'm gonna tell him, are you gonna get arrested if you go over there? I said, possibly. Or worse, son.
Yeah.
And to think that you gotta have those conversations, I gotta start schooling my 4-year-old now, because he loves police officers. I mean, I don't think I shout out to police officers, the good ones, stuff like that. We have good police officers on the show, and not all police officers are bad. Majority of them aren't bad. Just being real. It just feels like the majority of them are, because the majority of the ones that we interact with are.
Yeah.
Or maybe it just feels that way.
Like, if I've had 25 encounters with police in my life, probably 23 of them went bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been pulled over. I've been asked to get out of the car for no reason. I'm just driving. And why'd you pull me over? Because your tag light's out. So why am I getting out my car? Because my tag light is out. You're not just gonna give me a ticket for my tag light? Well, I gotta get out my car and you gotta search it. Now, I did it because I didn't have anything to hide, and I ain't want to sit there and have it escalate to something else. I did it. I gave him a little lip about how I felt about the situation too. You know what I mean? But I did it, and that was the end of it. But that's cool one time. But 3, 4, 5, 6 times. All right. Now I'm really getting ready to get in my feelings about this situation. It's so funny because I don't do anything illegal. But yet, when the police pull up behind me, nervous. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. And if they turn them lights on, I thank God that when they turn the lights on, I'm by myself and I don't have my wife or my kids in the car with me. Just being real.
Here's a crazy thing, like you just said. I don't do anything illegal either, right? License good, insurance, everything good. Why do I still rarely watch?
Yeah.
I just very watch. Yeah, I mean, just to see like if somebody's coming, if a police gets. Yeah, I mean, like it's crazy. And again, it's just the way we are conditioned in the world in this America. Like I gotta I gotta constantly watch my back. I gotta constantly watch out and see if something happened to me. Like you said, listen, I was pulled over, and again, I did something illegal. The cop was cool. I did listen in my road, going down my road. It was the the little construction thing there. I pull up, and I'm like, oh, it looks like it's open. It's open in there. I didn't move it or anything like that. So I drove through. Woo woo. Cops came out of nowhere. You feel me? So again, I get it illegal, but the whole time, like you said, in the way my road is, it's like a cut, like royal. Like you pull up, it's nothing but trees in a road. I gotta go down that road, turn on to get to my crib. Pull me right into that area where it's you can't see nothing. Yeah, I mean it's one way, one way cars going one way, cars going another way, but it's nothing but trees. It's not like a main area like that. And I'm in Maryland, up in Maryland. So
Mm.
man, shoot, this could be it. This could be the day.
Yep. I know that feeling, bro. Especially in Elton.
Yes, sir. Like man, this could be the day.
Yeah. And it's again, I don't have anything against police. Police have a purpose in our society. You know, they're needed. We're not gonna say here. I don't think there's anybody that's gonna say that police aren't needed. But police need to be further trained. They need more training. They need more experience. And let's be honest with you, you need to be from the neighborhood that you're policing, or familiar with the neighborhood that you're policing, or live in the neighborhood that you're policing. You need to have some familiarity with the neighborhoods that you are policing, because if you're a stranger and you're not aware of how things operate and work, then you're going in there with a different mentality than the people that you are policing, and that's a recipe for disaster.
When they fear, you automatically coming in there fearful. Automatically coming in not knowing. So I'm with you, bro. So like I said, man, I want to go on a tangent about it, but I mean it's just real things that we're dealing with. Like, and again, it's just coming off of the heels of you said them storming the Capitol and Jacob Blake's killers being acquitted, not being charged. Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I was listening to LeBron yesterday. He was like, man, something that we've been through before. So this ain't nothing new. It legit just happened to Breonna Taylor. It legit just happened with Breonna Taylor, where her killers were, yeah, I mean, weren't charged. And this time,
Yep.
like, I don't know, I think he wasn't doing nothing. And again,
This was Jacob Blake. This was in Wisconsin, right?
yeah, this was Wisconsin.
This was the one where he got into some altercation with somebody else. I guess he had some warrants or something. He also got into an altercation with the police, tried to tase him twice. He pulled the prongs out. He was walking to the vehicle. He had kids in the vehicle. Apparently, there was a knife or something either in the vehicle or on his person. But he was shot in the back multiple times. Nobody is saying that he was an angel. Nobody is saying that he was a great person. Nobody's saying that he was just this phenomenal father figure and he was a pillar of the community. He could have been a jerk, a terrible father. From the sounds of it, he was a domestic abuser. Like he was all of that. That doesn't justify being shot in the back. And nobody's saying that the police officer needed to be locked up and murdered and killed and all of that. He needs to just be held accountable for taking that man's life. He needs to be held accountable because he didn't have to shoot him in the back multiple times to de-escalate that situation. Because that was what the situation needed. It needed to be de-escalated, and he didn't de-escalate it, in my opinion, by shooting the man in the back.
I agree with you. So I want to talk to you a little bit real quick. about vision real quick. And we talked a lot about sports. We talk a lot about things that are important to us um, culturally, things that's going on in the world, stuff like that. We just talk about. Oh, I want to say this real quick. One shout out to my man Dr. Dre. Hope he gets well. He had an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm over the night. He's doing well, so wishing, praying for a speedy recovery for him. But so every year I do. I'm real big in Lord and everything like that. So I go pray. Yeah, I mean, get a vision from God, stuff like that for my household, because it's just something that um, I can put down on paper and I can look forward to accomplishing something that drives me, something that keeps me going when times get tough and when you don't, it doesn't look like things are going the way that that things are supposed to. Um, I just go back to my vision. Yeah, I mean, what's the vision? What drives you? What are you looking forward to? Um, the reason I wanted to talk about vision today in the beginning of 2021 is because we just came out of a crazy year in 2020, and it's ironic to me that it happened in 2020 because most people said equate 2020 with vision. Yeah, I mean, so I wanted to talk to you guys about why it's super important to have a vision, especially as a black person. This is for everybody, but just as a black person, as a black man, as a black individual in this world, you need to have a vision, um, because that a vision is something that will help you sustain through these times that we're going through. Like we're going through some trying times, we're going through some tough times, and if you don't understand what your vision is and what your purpose is, then that is how we can fall back. That's also how we can get sucked into so many things. We can get sucked into, oh, this person, oh, that person, oh, well, this person said this and that person said that. Yeah, I mean, the crowd is moving that way, so I'm gonna follow the crowd. I'm gonna move over to what the crowd is doing. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna the Trump supporters are doing X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to, because I don't want to get caught up in their tornado, their whirlwind. I'm going to try to follow in what they're doing. Vision is super important because it allows you to stay focused on where you are going and where you are supposed to be. Um, I always ask people about, when I'm talking to people about vision, I can just close your eyes and try to walk down the street that you don't know, or try to walk down a place where you don't know. I mean, it's terrifying. It's super terrifying. If you close your eyes, somebody just dropped you off in the middle of nowhere and said, find your way home. You'll be terrified. One, you're gonna be timid. You ain't going to move as swiftly as you would when you know where you were going. You are going, listen, I can have my eyes open and somebody drop me off in the middle of nowhere and I'm still gonna be timid. Can you imagine not being known where you're going and somebody drop you off and you can't see? That's what vision does for you. Vision allows you to be confident. It allows you to not be timid, and allows you to move when you necessarily can't see the next stop, but you know that there is a next stop and a destination moving forward. So that's what vision does for you. That's why I think vision is super important, especially with what we're doing and coming up. You have to have a vision. So for me, I have a vision board. I write the vision down. My family knows about it. We pray about it. We talk about the vision. And I know a lot of people in the world who do these methods. They write their vision down. They recite it over and over again. They recite it at night. They recite it in the morning because the vision becomes a part of them. One of the last things I want to say about vision is why it's important to actually write the vision down, is so you can clearly articulate it to somebody else, and they can clearly see it. Yeah, I mean, when you have a vision, if you're the only person that knows your vision, the only person that sees the vision, how can I get Biv to follow me on a vision that he can't see? I have to articulate it to him. I have to write it down and show it to him, so that way now he can get it and he can say, "Okay, bet, let's go. We can go. We can go do this thing." That's why it's super important to have a vision, write the vision down, and speak that vision over and over again. That way, it becomes a part of you, and people can see it, and they'll be able to follow you and help you build that vision that you
Couldn't agree more, bro. As
So-
Tamar would say, the Dalai Lama.
have. Hey, listen. Again, I just think it's super important, man. Especially like I said, we're coming out of 2020, man. I think if 2020 taught us anything, it should have taught us again about vision. It should have taught us we need to know exactly where we're going. We need to know exactly what we're doing, because in a blink of an eye and in one instant, in one moment, all the things that we thought we were doing and we thought that we wanted to do, and all the things that we thought we loved, was ripped away from us and can be taken away from us. But when you have purpose and you have a vision, that's one of the things that can't be taken away from you is those things. So we got to figure we have to figure those things out, man. We have to be more vision driven and more purpose driven in our life, especially again as Black people. We have to have more vision and more purpose driven.
Absolutely.
So that's like I said, my final thought. That was my thing on vision. Just my little brief topic on vision. But again, we don't have anything else to talk to y'all about on tap, whether it be culturally or sports related. I did want to give my man Biff a final thought.
My final thought is kind of piggybacking off what you was just talking about, and it's don't burn your bridges. You know, as adults, we should be able to have disagreements, talk it out, and move on. We don't have to end in bad blood, because I may need you again. You may need me again. It gets to a point where I guess we just have to mature as people. You know, maturity is really, really big. And it's, again, just talking about burning bridges. You never know when you're going to need somebody, and you never know when somebody's going to need you. So don't burn your bridges. Respect people. And it's an old saying, man, but treat people the way you want to be treated. I know it's real simple. You heard it before, but we don't practice it. We really don't. Stop burning your bridges, because, again, you never know when you're going to need somebody, and you never know what it is that you're going to need. So be respectful to people, man.
Listen, that's young and old. I love what you just said, because we talk about lines of vision. A bridge is a place to get you from one point to another point, and that's forward thinking. When we talk about not burning bridges, it's okay. That person, I may not have liked a job, or that person may have did me wrong or something like that, but I'm not going to burn a bridge there, because, like you said, if I'm driven by something later on down the road, we may have to cross paths again.
Yep.
Where now I may need you. So
Yep.
I agree with him. That's our show. We got something new for y'all this year. We're going to talk about if there's anything that we want to speak up about, we're going to talk about it. If there's anything that we want to speak on, we're going to talk about it. So speak up, speak out, speak on it. That's going to be our slogan for 2021. That's going to be our slogan moving forward. We're going to speak up about injustice. We're going to speak up for our community. We're going to speak up for our women. Yeah, I mean, because I think that they also still don't get treated the way that they should get treated quick, bro.
It was like when you brought that up, it brought me back to something that I seen. Are people really mad with the baby because he did a song with Tory Lanez? Like, people are really mad about that situation? Like, they really mad about that? But they hang out with their homeboy, they beat their girlfriend up every week.
Ooh,
Or the girl, she hang out with her cousin that beat his girlfriend up every week. But we worried about celebrities breaking bread with each other? Like, come on, people, man. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that, man.
Like I just said, We're gonna speak up about it. We're gonna speak on these things. We're gonna speak out about those things. We're gonna talk more about all these things because, like he just said, that's a professional decision that he made. He's making. They making songs. They make music.
And he ain't
Ain't
even
got
got to be in the studio with him. He could literally just send him the track.
the track. I ain't even gotta like you. I don't gotta like you. But it's about music. But like he just said, we know friends and people that we know treat they wives wrong. We know they treat their girls wrong, and we don't speak up. We don't speak out or speak up about it at all. We'll speak on it. We're gonna speak up about all these situations. We're gonna speak out about it. We're gonna speak on them. That's what we're gonna do. So that again, that's gonna be our slogan this year. We're gonna speak up. We're gonna speak out. We're gonna speak on it. Anything that we feel as though that is important. Because I know we keep talking, we keep prolonging the show, but again, women, I feel as though again keep being undervalued,
Absolutely.
mistreated, and then not being talked about enough. So we're gonna talk about it. Again, we're gonna speak on it. We're gonna speak about it. So I ain't gonna keep saying it. I ain't gonna keep be yellow over here with what we're gonna do and the slogan and everything like that. But just know, women, whatever it is, if it's injustice, we got y'all back. We're gonna talk about it. That's our show for the day. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channel. Like our like our YouTube channel, hit that like button, tell a friend, share, like our Facebook page, whatever it is. Go to our link tree. Y'all know what it is. If y'all want to, if y'all wanna be on the show, holla at us. Our link tree is in our bio. That's our show for the day. I'ma holla at y'all.
Peace.